Hello everybody, welcome back to Trash and Trails. It is September 3rd, 2020 in Utah County, Provo, a little place called the Riverwoods. We're leaving where we last left off. I could not find my grabby sticky thing, so unfortunately that can over there is going to have to wait until I can get that. I'll probably have to get that when some other time when I'm not recording. Oh well, that's okay. There's plenty of other things for us to go see and do and to get in trouble with. I was thinking of starting a little bit further up, of picking up trash and then starting a little bit further up from here because some construction folks are playing their music and it's probably copyrighted. I really don't feel like editing that out. But I figured, what the heck, we'll go along here, and there was a good amount when I was coming by to pick up and find. And I also want to show you all one of my favorite spots around here. Is that a leaf or is that, I think that's trash? Yeah, it's cardboard. Here we go. And we got something here. Looks like some Amazon shipping wrapper. Some plastic here. As usual, I get started picking up a little bit in some area, then guess what? I find a whole bunch. Not a whole bunch. There's a plastic bottle over there. Maybe you can see. Let's go get it. Let's keep you in that hand. Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. Ooh, that bush was trying to get some action. Got something here. Del Taco. I have nothing against Del Taco, but I do not go there much. And we have here toe warmers. Oh, I thought for a second I thought that this was like one giant toe. And it's like something you put on like a specific toe. As you can see, that's not what it is. It's a sock, bottom of the sock. Anyway, I don't see anything down here. Let's go over here. We'll bag what we've got and continue on. Alrighty, let's bag what we got here. I like this view. I hope it comes out well on camera. You have the light hitting the trees in a nice way. You have some shadows cast on the trees there. And then you can see the underside of the leaves. It has like a nice little lighting effect. I think it's pretty. I think it's cool. It's got the water in the background. Hopefully you all can hear me. Ugh. I need to get around to editing videos to see how well things are doing. I don't know how, like, YouTubers who have been doing this for a while, what their pipeline is. I've been looking online for, like, how to do certain things in editing and what the pipeline might be for some folks, but I really haven't found anything super solid. Oh, is that something? No, that's a rock. I think it might be just me diving in and floundering about until I can get enough practice and experience to where it's not a horrible kind of intimidating process. All right, what's that here? Got some plastic. We got cars and stuff over there. And we're actually almost done with this roundabout. So this path has two main sections. With regards to trash pickup, it has, I would say, 1, 2, 3, 4 main sections. and we've seen a lot of them. You have, but essentially there's this side of the street, south side of the street, and then there is the north side of the street. So whenever I do trash pickup, whether it be here or other places, if it's somewhere I've been, I like to, well, first I'll scout it out just to see what the trail is like, to see if there's any extra gear I need to bring in. Like I'm kicking myself for having lost my grippy handle stick. And then I'll separate it out into major sections, at least in my mind, before I go on it. The Riverwood trail around here is actually pretty nice and compared to some other trails. Like I've been to trails that are like way out into the woods, but they're by campsites and where folks like to travel. And there's all kinds of trash about. Way more, well, actually I would say around here, the first time I went around it was really bad. The second or third time, the trash accumulation has not been terrible. So anyway, this is what I wanted to show you. Someone decided to make a nice little path here. Kind of. It's not like super set, but that's okay. It works. And there's some trash there. I'll pick it up. And they even put a little bench here. I think it looks really. There's even a little bird feeder there. You can see. I think it's fantastic. Someone folded this. I don't know why. There's probably a reason. I'm not going to mess with it. You have nice little plants that someone takes care of, and a nice little planter. It's a really nice spot to get away. I assume they put it here for public use. It's on a public use part of the trail. So if you're in the area, feel free to have a sit, I guess. I don't see why not. Don't do anything illegal. But to my understanding, it's a public walkway area, and they put it here, and no one's complaining. I'm certainly not complaining. It looks nice. Definitely not litter. The opposite of litter. It's a nice little sitting area if you need to recharge or repose, I think. Was that more snakeskin? No, I don't think so. It's more bark. Oh, hang on. Something in there we need to get. What's that? Oh, it's a can. Don't poke me in the eye, please. There we go. Alrighty. Okay, at this point, I'm going to tweak my camera a little bit to about maybe 45 degrees. I don't know what degree exactly or how to measure it appropriately. In my mind, it makes sense to say 45, so that it's hopefully angled there. Because I'm worried, like, if it's what it was, you'll just be looking over my left shoulder. But I don't want you looking over my left shoulder. I'd rather you all be looking in front of me. So we're giving that a try. Let's see, what can is this? Probably a beer can of some kind, I'd imagine. Oh, I think that's Bud. Yep. We got a Bud. I thought I saw some plastic on the trail here, but I might have lost sight of it, regrettably. Thought I saw like a black piece of plastic along the trail line I wanted to get. I lost sight of it. Darn it. There's a little bit of plastic here. Oh, it's crumbly. It's crumbly. There we go. Alrighty. Let's get going. The goal should be to make an area a bit nicer, a bit better than than how you found it. And I think whoever did that with the bench did a good job. They succeeded there. This, on the other hand, leaving your bud light, or natural bud, is the opposite of making an area nicer for not only the area's sake, but for everyone else's sake who goes by the area leaving this kind of stuff about, making it worse. I understand sometimes things just fall out of pocket. I get it. Ouch. But be working on making things better, not worse. Overall, I think a lot of people litter. I mean, if you're going to crush a can like that in that spot, that seems pretty freaking intentional to me. And that's not cool. So we left our backity pack there as we go exploring. Let's see how much this area grew from last time. Well, it still looks kind of the same to me. So we got a little bit of blue here. And got something there. Looks like a butterfinger. Someone had butterfingers and couldn't hang on to their wrapper, I guess. That's how that goes. Yeah, it's better to try and make an area nicer than when you left it. And what is better, etc., etc. Well, it can be explained and articulated, I think. However, that kind of thing and determination comes from experience and good comparative judgments. I mean, that's to develop an understanding, like a solid understanding of what the heck is better and what isn't. I think that comes from good judgments and comparative judgments. How does one get good judgments? Oh, I might have ranted about this before. I might rant about it again. And I'll probably rant a little bit about it now. But getting good judgments is something that is of great interest to a lot of folks who care about objectivity, learning what truth is, and so forth. To good scientists and researchers, trying to make good judgments is very important. This is a topic that was very popular in, I believe it was the 18th century. You have a lot of folks who wrote on the topic of taste, right? And what I found is that the topic of taste also translates a lot into good judgments. Although, of course, you can go way back, way before the 18th century to find discussions on what is good judgment and what is good taste. And the principles thereof that transcend location and time. Some of those, well, first I'll reference some people you can look into, and there are a lot more, of course. David Hume, of course, comes to mind, for folks who look into those things. A lot of people don't like Immanuel Kant, but with regards to this matter at least, he's written a lot about that I personally think is mostly agreeable. Oh shoot, I actually went like hardcore literature review on this at one point. I don't remember all the names. Those are the two big ones that come to mind. There are a lot of like old French and English names because that's the time when it was popular. An area where people gave this a lot of thought. Again, not the only area, of course, but a lot of people wrote about it and articulated on it very well during that time. Actually, there's a website on philosophy. It's kind of like a Philosophy Britannica website. Whoop. And it goes over the subject of taste or aesthetic judgment and so forth. And that, I thought, was a really good resource, or a primer, at least. If that's a topic that interests you, good place to get started on that. It goes through a lot of the history of what does it mean to have good taste and good judgment and so forth. It's particularly to art and aesthetics, but it can also be applied to judgment. So what are some of those principles? Well, one thing that seems to be there is trying to be as objective as possible. Now, I know some people scream, oh, 100% object. I think that's it. I don't know if that's a leaf or not, but I'm going to bag it just in case. There's some people who just scream that because 100% objectivity is not possible amongst mortals, you might as well not even try for it. That is stupid. I'm just going to come out and say it. That's a stupid idea. Look, just because 100% objectivity is not possible doesn't mean you go full idiot. I don't know if I could use that particular quote. I might get in trouble. Doesn't mean I think these plants were there intentional. What the heck is that thing? It's like wiring. I think these plants were planted here intentionally. Anyway, that doesn't mean you go full, well, I'm going to be completely 100% biased and subjective and completely throw any semblance of objectivity to the wind. That is foolish. That is foolish. And as you get older, you realize that's foolish. I sound like a real jerk right now. Well, sometimes I am. On this subject matter, I can be a bit of a jerk. The better thing to do, if you want to have good judgment, to better not only your life, but the lives of others, is to decrease bias and subjectivity. I know some people are going to be like, well, you said that's foolish, and isn't that a subjective judgment? Well, me making that call comes from a lot of comparative judgments and strong considerations. Now, I could maybe talk like a day or so about why I think going the extreme of going from trying to minimize objectivity to try and maximize subjectivity is foolish. On the surface, it should almost be apparent as to why I think that's foolish. But oh, look, quest bar. Look at that. I actually love these things. I don't love litter, but I love quest bars. Something else back there. I think there's something else over there too, if you see it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around and we're going to go get it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so that's one thing, is to try and minimize non-objective judgments, or in a sense subjectivity, although that can actually get a little complicated, is trying to maximize subjectivity, maximize objectivity, maximizing objectivity. It overlaps, but it's not a perfect overlap with trying to minimize subjectivity. But anyway, so that's one principle that seems to be consistent amongst those who have written well about what it means to have good taste and good judgment. There's some spiky plants now. Well, not spiky, but they've got all these like little ends to them, which are kind of like spikes. So that's one element, is to try and minimize your subjectivity and maximize your objectivity of something. The old phrase in today's semantics, or today's understanding, might be kind of odd sounding, but it's the topic of disinterested interest. Right, so you're interested in something, but you're not. You don't bring sentimentality to it. Maybe that's another way to think about it. Is that you're not bringing your sentimental biases into a judgment or a consideration. This place got a lot more dirty since the last time I was here. My goodness. All right, we're going to grab that purple bag and then scan that little looks like a part of a shoe? Yeah, it looks like a kid's shoe. Some kid probably threw their shoe over the bridge. I'm guessing. That's what happened. Ugh. Okay. We got kid's shoe, little Nike shoe. And he threw over the bridge, and Mom was like, "Where's your shoe?" He's like, "I lost it." Usually what happens. Anyway, no one resting under there now. Let's go clean up under the bridge, I guess. This bridge usually doesn't get that dirty, especially not compared to the other one. It's more difficult to access, you can see. What we're going to do is we're going to stage our current bit of trash here and just kind of compile it over together. Another element of good judgment is focusing on details, trying to notice the details of things, and are the details put together harmoniously? And then what is harmony? For design people, there are some technical considerations with that. If you make enough comparative judgments and experience and practice enough, you'll probably be able to say that is relatively more harmonious than the other thing. Right? And not just details, but also depth of meaning. Right? Like how much meaning is there? Like, can you, like, if you say, I don't know, a skull covered in diamonds to represent the destruction people cause for opulence or whatever. I mean, are you pretty much all the way there, or does the object itself give you more when you look at it, right? It's kind of like the longer you look at it, is there more meaning kind of thing. So that's one thing to consider with regards to good judgment. And again, I'm talking about things that seem to be elements of good judgment no matter where you are, no matter what time you're in. If you want to get really, really old school, like pre-18th century, like Old Testament-esque, there's actually a pretty decent amount of writing against bribery and ensuring that judges minimize their bias. But what is that? Is that cardboard? And minimizing their bias by not being bribed, therefore not really having a stake in the matter, which kind of goes back to not only helping to ensure that this interested in this, but in whatever you're judging, but also helping to not bring your certain sentimentalities and attachments into something. There's some graffiti over there. Oh, what is that? Oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. Looking at it. I haven't noticed that one. Orange crying wolf. I don't know if you can see it from here. Oh, clothes. Dagnabbit. They're clothes. You see, part of the conundrum I have when I see clothes is the person going to be back or not? Because I don't get... Homeless folks have it rough enough as it is. You know, I just don't want to, like, take their stuff if that's, like, if they're just kind of, like, using that as a drop. So I don't remember seeing it. I think it's somewhat new. It might be someone's actual stuff. I don't really... How much cobwebs are there on it? There's cobwebs over there on those socks. You know, I really don't see... Like, I see a little bit of cobwebs. I don't know if maybe the wind got on that, though. I'm going to leave the clothes here. The next time I do a run around here, which will probably be off camera, if it's still here, I'll pick it up. But some things that are obviously trash, we've got this here. We've got this here. Okay. Oh, let's see. What else do they talk about with regards to comparative judgments? And judging things well, and so forth. There are other things. I don't remember exactly right now everything. But if it's interesting to you, there's plenty of literature on it. It's actually a really, really interesting topic, I think, the concept of objective judgments. And the reason why I originally brought that up was because if you're trying to find out if something is desirable or undesirable. Oh, another thing, too, that's not talked about a lot, and a few folks have talked about it, but it is quite agreeable, I think, is the idea of degrees, right? I mean, very few things are Boolean. In other words, very few things are 0, 1, true, false, yes, no. Usually things come in degrees. There are some things that are true, false, yes, no, option A, option B. There are some things that are like that, but oh, sad. Anyway, there are some things that are like that, although most things are on a continuous variable. And so there are various degrees of, let's say, beauty. That's a topic and a half. If you're into like philosophy or art or something like that, if you're not, it's like, yeah, okay, beauty, that's, whatever. But if you are into things like philosophy, art, and so forth, that's a huge topic. That's a huge topic. There's a lot more down here than I thought. But like for something can be more beautiful than another thing. Oh, and another thing with judgments is considering the context, right? And this is where I think subjectivity. What the heck? Huh. All right. Well, if there are monsters about, I guess I could whack them with this. But knowing the context of something, its history, why it's positioned the way it is. I mean, a classical Baroque is going to look different than something from medieval Japan. Right? If you compare them side by side, they could be two great pieces of art, but they are different, and so you need to take that into consideration. Right? The context and the background development for them are different. Oh, and that actually, oddly enough, reminds me of another important variable. I think I can just bag it in here and go. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, a note. Oh. What does it say? What does it say? What does it say? Picture this. I don't know what he's doing, and frankly, don't care. Yesterday, I went to Pizza Pie Cafe. It's so good. I accomplished my goal of branching out more. I've come to terms with my IEP. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not excited about it, but I'm not depressed either. I guess I'm just neutral. Today's been a long day already. Maybe the guy is contemplating life. He looks depressed, but maybe he's just chilling. Who knows? Someone writing about their observations, I guess. It's part of their journal. Alrighty, let's get you in here. Oh yeah, anyway, another important element is focusing on the object itself. right? So you're not, and you're trying to appreciate the object for itself and for what it is, right? You're not there to appreciate how good it's making you feel. You're not there to be wow and dazzled by it. You're not, I mean, you can be. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but that's not what it's about. And you realize that. And you're appreciating the object for what it is. One of the best example, recent examples I can think of for that would actually be the after-movie commentary with Martin Scorsese and the main actors on The Irishman. Right? And I'm paraphrasing Scorsese. If you haven't seen the movie, by the way, it's a great movie. Although I suggest you go into it with that, trying to have good judgment and not there to be wow or dazzled or anything superficial. That's another thing. You're not, like, bad art and such is very superficial. But anyway, that's a whole different topic too. But Scorsese, to paraphrase, said to the effect, a lot of people told me to make a movie based on the format, the seating and the effects and so forth, and how people will be affected. Very fish in my opinion. But Scorsese said, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make the movie for the movie. And I think it's that attitude, which is why he made, or why he was able to make such a good movie. It's a bit long, but very good. And I think, like I said, because he had that attitude of let's make the movie for the movie's sake, that he was able to make a great movie. Okay, we have a problem here. Well, maybe. We'll see. We might have to call this video a little bit shorter than expected. That's what happens. Some days you don't have a lot, and then you find a place like that, and you get all this. I don't know if I can fit all this. Yeah, I can't fit all it. Okay. What we gonna do is go to a local dumpster, take care of this guy, and we'll call it good. I think. You can listen to me rant about things on the way back. Or you could exit now and say, no, I'm tired of his incessant ramblings. How do you think my wife feels? Goodness. I love her to death. She's quite patient with me, and I appreciate that fully. But that's another thing. When not only when you're making something, if you want to, this is not only my view, but view of other like snobs on the matter. If you want to make something really good and exceptional that will last, you're focusing on the object itself. And when you're judging, you're focusing on the object for its sake. And your appreciation and liking and value for the object itself. Not because of what it can do for you. Or maybe it does something for you, but that's not why you're necessarily appreciating. You're looking at the object itself, although that is more art with regards to an aesthetics, with regards to appreciating an object not for its use, for its aesthetic qualities. Anyway, I'm just going to walk on back and rid of this old tree. Although in a way, you get to, by doing this, you get to see the path a little bit without zigzagging in and out, trying to pick up trash. Granted, if you come by here, like I said, I suggest you do. It's a nice area. You can, well, you'll probably be on the path there. I'm kind of like making another scan, if you will. I get paranoid sometimes. I just cleaned up this area. I don't want it messy again, kind of thing. Anyway, but it's a nice area. You can hang out by the trail and the path and enjoy the shots afterwards. Like I said, these houses are nice. Anyway, I think I'm going to stop it there. Whatever day you're watching this, I hope you have a good one. If overall you liked it, please leave a like. If overall you disliked it, please leave a dislike, and that'll help me gauge and figure out appropriate elements to have or not have in the video. Take care. Bye-bye.